Hi there, it's Peter here again. Welcome to another video, another tutorial, another screencast where we'll be covering how to create a transition of the preloader. So once the page content has been loaded, we'll look at how to animate the two parts to the left and right of the screen. So the final result will look like that. So we've got a dark preloading screen and then fading to the sides. So that's what we will cover in this video tutorial. If you haven't seen the previous part where we actually deconstructed the Cantina Negra preloader, then go and check it out. It's the previous video on my channel. And we'll use the starting files, or we'll use the final files for that tutorial as our starting files for this one. So we've got a simple preloader in the middle with some text at the top, and we'll add a couple of elements which will be the darker preloading screen, and we'll fading it out at certain points. So the first thing we'll do, we're gonna go into our index.html file and we'll add two elements which will be the left and right part of the preloading screen. So the first one will be simple div with a class loader section. So it will be the first section, and we'll have two of them, so we'll give it extra class section left. They could be empty because they have nothing inside of it, and then we'll create one more which will have just a different class right. Okay, so we'll just differentiate the positioning. It will share some of the styles. That's why we've got both of them same class loader section. And then we're gonna go into our CSS and we're gonna style this loader section. So in a main CSS file, we're gonna scroll down just below the animation, which we did in a previous tutorial, and we're gonna style the sections itself. So loader wrapper, which is our container, and then loader section, which is our left and right. And we'll position this part fixed, so position fixed, top 0, width will be 51%, so we could use 50, but I like to use 51 so they overlap a little bit, and the height will be 100%, and the background will be nice dark color, hash 222, and the Z index will be 1000. Okay, we'll also position separate the left and right part. So again, loader wrapper and loader section left, which is the left part, and we'll copy that and write the right one as well. So the left part will be positioned left 0, so all the way to the left edge of the browser, and the right part will be right 0. Okay, so that's these are our styles for the two sections. And if we preview this in the browser, we should see this cover, the screen covered in a dark gray, which is exactly what we wanted. We'll just need to tweak the color of the heading and bring the preloader on top of the loading screen. So let's do that in the next step. As you can see, we've got the loader section Z index set to 1000, so we'll need to make sure our loader is anything above 1000. So if I scroll up a little bit, find the loader div, we'll just give this Z index 1001, which is enough. So as I said, it's 1 point higher than Z index of our sections. And another thing we'll do, we'll change the H1 color to something lighter so it can be seen on the darker background, hash EEE. And if we preview that in the browser, we should see the preloader on top of it and the text nicely readable. Now let's add some default page content because we didn't have there anything before. So we'll go back to our HTML and we'll add some content, which will be the page content, which will reveal after the animation out. So let's create a div ID content. And that will have just the h2 element with simple text. This is our page title. And then I'll copy and paste a couple paragraphs which are prepared before. So I'm just copying, pasting a couple paragraphs and pasting it just below the h2, which will be our default content. So this is the page content which will show up after we animate the preloader out of the view. To see this, obviously now it will be covered by the preloader. So we'll need to go to our CSS and comment out these styles for the section. So let's comment that out, preview that in the browser, and that's our basic content. We'll add few styles to the content. So just after here we define content styles. We'll set the margin 0 auto, so we'll center that container. We'll give it some padding bottom to 50 pixels. We'll make sure the width is 80%, so we'll don't touch the edges of the browser, and max width would be 978 pixels, which is the same width as we've got on the header container. So if I view this in a browser, we've got it nicely aligned and tucked inside of the page. If I resize it, it still scales down with the browser. And now we can finally add some animations, which is probably why you're watching this video anyway. We'll go back to our style sheet. We can comment this back in, and we'll create a new comment which will be a loaded styles. And how we're gonna animate everything out of the view will be adding a class to our body. So that will be class loaded. We'll use JavaScript for that, and then we'll copy this declaration, which is for our left section, and we'll put transforms inside of it. Okay, so every time the body has a class loaded, then the left section will be not rotated, will be transformed. So we'll change rotate to translate X. So translate X minus 100%. This will move the left section all the way to the left edge of the browser, so out of the view to the left side. And we'll do that for all our 3 vendor prefixes. And we'll use the same styles for our right section. So we'll change left to right. And we'll also need to change the translate X value from the -100 to 100, which means the right section of the screen will move to the right from the original position. We'll also change the opacity of our loader to 0, so that will become invisible when the body gets the class loaded. So opacity 0. So this will fade the loader out, but also we want to make sure that the whole loader wrapper is actually not visible at all, doesn't cover our content, so everything is clickable. That's why we need to set another style loaded. Loader wrapper will be set to visibility hidden. Okay, this will make our content visible. And I'll see I've got a wrong class in here. Okay, so fix that. So loaded, loader is opacity 0, and the whole wrapper is visibility hidden. Let's view it in a browser now. If we refresh the page, we'll see that nothing's happening because we don't have the class loaded on our body. So we'll just fake it for now, going to a console, and we're gonna write a little bit of jQuery. So that's we're gonna target the body. So $, opening, closing quotes, and body. So that's how we targeting the body element. We're gonna add class loaded, and once we hit enter, we'll see that the page becomes visible and everything turns everything fades out, or everything gets out of the viewport, but there are no animations. Obviously we'll still need to add the animations, the movement, the smooth animations inside of our style sheet. Okay, so this just proves that we've got the styles set right. So if I put the class back in, so we remove the class loaded, you'll see that everything's back in. So that's these are our two states. One is with the loading screen on, and then the loading screen out of the view once we've got the loaded class on our body. So let's firstly talk about the theory, or the animation sequence, how we want everything animate out. So we firstly want to animate the loader. We want to fade it out. Then we want to animate the left and right side out of the view. And then we also want to make sure that the whole loader wrapper moves all the way up to the top of the page, so it doesn't cover anything, just in case. So we'll have a 3 steps animation, so there will be some delays, and we'll need to work out the timing. So first thing, loader will be fading out, then 2 sides going on the side, and then the whole wrapper div is gonna go and slide all the way up to the viewport. Okay, so that's the theory. And now go to our style sheet and include our animations. The first element will be animating out or fading out, will be our loader, spinning loader in the middle of the page. And we'll get the snippet of the code from css3please. So let's go to css3please.com and search for transition, and we'll copy these 2 lines of text and paste them inside of our loaded loader declaration. Just align everything, and we're animating everything for 0.3 seconds, and ease out is the default easing coming from CSS3 transitions. So we'll save that. We'll also include the same transition, so we'll copy these 2 lines and paste the same thing inside of our loaded left section and right section. So let's paste it in here, and also for the right one as well. Okay, so we'll animate everything for the duration of 0.3 with the default ease out easing, because we want the left and right section start animating left and right after our loader fades out. We'll also need to include a delay on our left and right animations. So let's paste 0.3 to both left and right animations. This will set a delay to 0.3, which is the duration of our fade out animation. Okay, so that's how you push the animation out a little bit and delay it until the first one is finished. So if you view that in the browser, you'll see once we add the class loaded to our body, that the loader fades out and then everything animates out of the view. So the animations don't happen at the same time, they are happening after each other. So firstly animating out, and then left and right slides away as well. Okay, So another animation we'll add is to our wrapper. So we want to make sure that the whole wrapper actually animates out to the top of the viewport, to the page. So we'll include this transform translate X on our wrapper, but this time we want the whole div to animate up. So we'll change from translate X to translate Y, and we'll change the 100 to -100 because we want it to go up. If we want it to go down, we would keep it 100, but we want to make sure it goes actually up. And the timings and the animations for this will be also, you can copy it from the previous element, and we'll just adjust it a little bit. This time we want to make sure that the delay is 0.6, which is right after our left and right animates out of the view. So we duplicating that delay because it's this duration plus this duration, which is 0.6. So that's why we're delaying for 0.6 seconds. Viewing this in a browser, you'll see that everything nicely fades out after each other, and the text is now nicely selectable. And to fine-tune everything, we're gonna go back to our CSS and change one more thing, and that would be the timing and the easing on the left and right animation. So we'll change the animation from ease out to cubic bezier. So I'm just gonna paste it in from my other project, but you'll see how it affects the animation. We'll change the duration from 0.3 to 0.7. So let's copy that to both left and right animations, and because we increasing the length of our animation to 0.7, which is by 0.4, we'll need to include 0.4 here as well, which is results in 1 second delay for our loader wrapper animation. Okay, when you see this in a browser, you'll see that cubic bezier gives you a little different effect, and it just slows down right at the end of the edges. So if you put it back in and again, you'll see it's a much more smoother animation and slows down really at the end of the right or left edges. So this is my preferred method when you're animating something left or right. The cubic bezier gives you a much more slicker effect, and also you need to increase then the duration to roughly around 0.7. And that's basically it. We could do one more thing just to fake our preloading because we don't have enough content on our page. We can go to our JavaScript file and just fake that manually adding the loaded class. So we'll just write a simple function, set timeout function, and inside of it we'll target again the body. So we're doing exactly the same thing as we did in our browser console. So body dot add class loaded, and we can also change the color of the h1 because you know it's light. So we'll change it h1 to, I'm gonna change the color to 222, which is our background color of the preloader. Okay, and in here we're gonna define the delay, which is 3 seconds, so 3000 milliseconds. So what this gonna do, it's gonna add the class loaded for us, and then everything's gonna fade in automatically without us going manually and changing it. Okay, so if I close this console and refresh the page, we should see after 3 seconds that our animation happens automatically. On a real project, you can use preloading libraries such as images loaded or pxloader, and they let you define callbacks after animation, after page content is loaded, and that's where you would put the body add class loaded, and that would give you the similar effect. So I'll link to these two libraries in the description of the video, and you can also check out the blog post on my blog. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's tutorial and you've learned something new as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.